Out next, we'll see the Cromwell Collision Repair BP to go. It is Cromwell Tyres, 7-car of Ivan Murdoch. Norwood, a Wackamotor, 72, Peter Scout, 47, the Cleanways, Hypermac of Lloyd Phillips, 2NZ, Pete Dixon. Of course, Hypermac looking after him. 17, the Cleanways car of Craig Phillips, Dean Shearing Contracting, 68. Dean Shearing makes his way onto the track as well. Then we go back to the Urine Shearing Contracting. The 69 car will be out next, and we go behind Tim to the Road Medals car. It is the 55 car of Stevie Robinson. And 57, Clark Brown would be the last one out onto the track. A man that's basically been new to saloon racing really, but been around the Speedway tracks for quite some time. So those are the field of saloons that we have here tonight racing, and of course one of those whole scenarios of Hypermax versus the rest of the field. I think there's three Hypermax, and most of them are serviced by Hypermax. So that just goes to show how popular these cars are. And of course, we are at the home of the Hypermac at Central Motor Speedway here in Cromwell. Righto, so we've got a wee bit of a problem here with 7 Ivan Murdoch. He's got his crew down here having a wee look to find out what's going on. And they got the bonnet off the car at the moment, the BP to go car, just having a wee look, and seems to be something wrong there. And of course, 7 Ivan Murdoch had this car a couple of seasons. He jumped up from production saloon racing actually a wee while ago, and just about 2 seasons ago now. Had a couple of dodgy ones for the first season that he raced in the saloon. He tipped it upside down, and then of course he went off up to Blenheim Speedway and opened up a few people's eyes. Qualified for the New Zealand Championships up there, and went on to do some pretty good things. So fantastic for the 7 car of Ivan Murdoch, and he was didn't expect to qualify for the New Zealand Champs at Blenheim. And the interesting thing was some of the guys actually pitched in and got him some tyres for the second night. So that was how everybody sort of works in these types of classes, these saloon classes and stuff. They all pitch in and help each other out. So great to have him here. 47 Lloyd Phillips, one of the other surprises of the last couple of years as well, stepped up, and I will talk about him highly whilst he's in his car, because by Jesus, he's more than happy to tell you what he's like outside of the car, and he's an absolutely talented driver as well. Bought this Hypermac car. He started off actually, the Phillips boys, the two of them, Craig, the 17 and the 47, started off way back, and I think they started off in production saloons, and not for them, so they stepped up into a street stock for a wee while, had a bit of a stint in stock car, and have really settled down with saloons, and that's the way that they have now swung, and enjoy it. Absolutely love it. The 47 car and the 17 car, both brothers. Both own the Cleanways business, along with another brother down in Invercargill, very successful business as well. And of course, he's pumped a fair bit of money in the 47 car, which is the well, it did start off as a Harris chassis, but I think that the only thing that remains of that Harris car is maybe a couple of bars in the roll cage, and that's about it. So he's done and dusted now, and he's it's pretty much a Hypermac machine. And by George, did he step up the ante quite a bit. Still learning to come to grips with it, learning the different techniques and what he needs to do and not what he needs to do. So he'll definitely be one to watch out for. But I've always said it all along, the 17 car, he is definitely the one to watch. He is, he's got that whole attitude, win it or bin it, and he's definitely binned it more than once. But unfortunately, the 7 car of Ivan Murdoch, he's come to the track to park it on the infield for race number 1. So hopefully whatever the problems was with that car, that'll be all fixed up and there won't be too much of a problem. Rightio, so it looks like off the front we'll see the 21 car of Graham Williamson. And of course, Graham Williamson, that's the ex-Darrell Ainsley 5T saloon that he owns there, and Graham took over the reins of that a couple of seasons ago. Had a pretty okay sort of a start, just learning to drive. The last thing that he drove on a speedway track was a Valiant back in 1946 it might as well have been, but he's certainly stepped up and got into this machine here. He's come back 20 odd years later. Actually, I seen a photo of him the other day. It looks very different now, the old bugger. But no, seriously, he's absolutely good peddler. He puts a lot of money, a lot of time and effort into the Speedway as well. Great to have him here. Dutchy needs no introduction though, does he? As they start to make their way out of turn number 4 now, heading into the front straight, getting ready to go. Let's do it. Racing we go. And the 21 car gets a goodie. He goes up into 1 and 2, but Lloyd Phillips is up nice and high up there. Might have a wee bit of a push there. He's going to try and get the momentum heading down the back straight. But the 21 car and 47 having a great drag race. 47 Lloyd Phillips now moves up into the front. Right up his diff is the 2NZ machine of Peter Dixon, who's got stuck a wee bit behind the 21 car. So she's a Hypermac 1, 2, 3 at the moment. As they look, Peter Dixon looks to go nice and high up between 1 and 2. Beautiful move right round the outside of the 21 car. And behind them it'll be the 72 car of Peter Scout, and 68 Dean Shearing's on the pace as well. Right going around the outside of him, we'll see the 55 car of Stevie Robinson. Then we go one spot back, 57 Clark Brown. Then the 17 car of Craig Phillips, and 69 Ewan Shearing brings up the final spot, tail into the field now. Up to 3 and 4 we go. 47 Lloyd Phillips, he's gone a little bit too high up on 3 and 4. The 2NZ machine sees a bit of an opportunity coming off 4 now, and it goes across the start finish line, and 47 Lloyd Phillips still leads it. Fastest lap for Phillips, a 17.52. For Dixon though, 17.12. So Dixon's the man that's doing the business at the moment. He's got past Lloyd Phillips now, and heads up into turn 3 and 4. Opened up about 3 or 4. Phillips is now under threat from the 72 car. Peter Scout's having a look going past us in the commentary position now. We're into lap number 4 of 12. Dixon nice and beautifully round 1 and 2. 72 Peter Scout did the big dive bomb on the 47 car of Lloyd Phillips now, and takes over that second spot. Phillips back to third, goes up high again. 21 Graham Williamson having a wee look at him coming off turn 4, getting a bit closer now. He's about 2 lengths back in that 4th spot at the moment. Then we go back to about 10 spots to the 55 car of Stevie Robinson's. It's got the foot right up it now as he makes his way down the back straight. Let's go back about 25 lengths back to the 68 of Dean Shearing, about the same back to Craig Phillips. Then Ewan Shearing, and Clark Brown brings up the final spot at the tail end of the field now. 1 and 2's where we're at. And the 2NZ machine of Pete Dixon leads the charge, but closing up, it is the 72 car of Pete Scout, and doing a pretty good job as well. He's up on 3 and 4. He's got it down to about 6 lengths now. 47 Lloyd Phillips is off and back in about 25 lengths back in that 3rd spot. Graham Williamson's got it down to about 4 car lengths now as they make their way up into 1 and 2. About 8 back, 55 Robertson, another 10 or 15, 68 Dean Shearing would be next. Then Ewan Shearing from Craig Phillips, and Clark Brown still at the final part of the field there. Over the start finish line they go. Lap number 8's just been completed. Pete Dixon, he's got about 4 lengths now over 72 Pete Scout, as they head down the back straight. In behind them about 3/4 of a length to the back straight, back to the 47 car of Lloyd Phillips, another 3 or 4 back and behind him to the 21 car, and that is Graham Williamson. Across the start finish line goes our lead cars, and Scouten's got right up behind the 2NZ machine as they head down the back straight now. Makes his way up into 3 and 4. This is going to be a good wee battle for the closing part of the race here. Dixon's gone high. Scouten, he's just tucked in behind him there, looking for a way round as they make their way up into 1 and 2 now. Down into 1 and 2 they go. 2NZ still leads it, only just 55. Steve Robinson right front has collapsed on his car. Scouten's going to give a bit of a fright going up between turn 3 and 4. Dixon's up in the mid part of the track, and Scouten's down low as the white flag comes out. She's 1 to go. Up into 1 and 2 we go. Oh, this is going to be a close one. Clark Brown now becomes a factor. He's make the lap traffic, and of course Pete Dixon's been slowed up a wee bit here. Dixon's got the better run round the outside though. Scouten will be fuming. He comes off turn number 4 now, gives it the big beat. It will be 2NZ. Pete Dixon that'll take the win in the first one. 72 Peter Scouten. The 2 Petes are doing the job. Then 47 Lloyd Phillips, then from the 21 car of Graham Williamson. 68 Dean Shearing, fantastic drive from him for that 4th spot. Then we go back, or 5th, and then we go back 69 car of of Ewan Shearing. Then 17 Craig Phillips, and forget the rest. Wow, what a race, eh? And it was the 2NZ car of Pete Dixon. Fastest lap on lap number 3 was a 17.12. He did the last lap in 17.93, but Pete Scouten fastest lap number 9. You can see him dragging him back in, and that's when he started to make all the difference. But Scouten in 18.49 only held up the car of Clark Brown. Lloyd Phillips, fastest lap of 17.29, and lap number 11 for him, and he did 17.49 on lap 12, unhindered though. And 21 Graham Williamson there with a 17.29 and a 17.50 last lap. And rounding out the top 5, we had the 68 car of Dean Shearing, a 17.92, and he did an 18.06 last lap.
It's mag wheel sale time at Mag and Turbo. We've got 14-inch mags for $99, 15-inch mags $129, and 17-inch mags from $169. Finance is available, but only from Mag and Turbo.
So the saloons are out. You can tell I've been running, eh? The saloons are out now. And over the back straight there, have a wee bit of a talk about some of the saloons and super saloons. Obviously, for those people that are new to Speedway, there's two different classes of saloons you're seeing tonight. There's these guys, which are saloons, and there's another class you would have seen before called super saloons. A lot of people, a couple of people have actually said to me, what's the difference? It's quite simple, it's all about budget, really. These saloons, they can only run a maximum of 360 cubic inch V8 engines. They can't run methanol, they can only run on pump gas, and they must have carburetors. They're very limited in what they can and can't do. So the horsepower, anywhere between 500-600 horsepower, maybe more sort towards the 500 horsepower range. And of course the super saloons, they can go up to well over 430 cubic inches, and of course they can run methanol, or most of them do run methanol, a couple of them run avgas, and they can run injection and stuff as well, so there's really no limitations on super saloons other than cubic capacity. Those guys are pushing, well, there's rumours, but anywhere from 700 to 900 horsepower out of those guys. But it all comes down to the manufacturer of the car, just like the car you came in. There's obviously different manufacturers of cars out there. There's different manufacturers of cars in this grade of racing as well. We see that the 2NZ car, for example, is a hypermag car. Don't get me to quote everybody that's out there, but there's various different manufacturers of the Verdona chassis there. The 72 car of Peter Scouten, assembled in Balclutha by a guy called Mike Verdona. I'm sure we all know him. Obviously 47 Lloyd Phillips, 21 Graham Williamson, hypermag machines. Not sure what the 17 car of Craig Phillips is, but he's had a couple of people have a go at it for him. I think Verdona's had a go, and also hypermag, Shane McIntyre as well. So that's pretty much the main differences with these cars. And this class was designed as a means to be able to keep it a little bit lower in price, the budget class of super saloons. Well, that backfired, didn't it? So these guys pump a fair bit of money into them. It's all about how much money they can pump in, how fast they will go. So yeah, so that's pretty much the differences between them. Of course, super saloons are pretty much unlimited, so they will be quite a bit different in the sense that it really does come down to manufacturer of car, how much money you've got, and also the a whole heap of different variations of that as well. Some of the big cars are very, very expensive. Rightio, so they're heading over the back straight there. Up over to turn 3 and 4 we go. Getting ready to go. Racing we go. Righto, so the 2NZ machine is the one that leads the charge now as he looks like the 17 car of Craig Phillips goes around the outside of the 2NZ machine of Pete Dixon, and behind them the 21 car of Graham Williamson's about to get challenged now by the 72 car of Pete Scouten as they come off turn number 3 and 4. They go across the start finish line. 60-8 Dean Shearing would be your next place machine. 47 Lloyd Phillips having a wee look round the outside of Shearing now. Stevie Robinson's gone round them as they make their way down the back straight. 57 Clark Brown would be your final place car right at the tail end of the field now. Up the front we go, and the 2NZ machine of Pete Dixon's the one that leads the charge. The challenge is definitely going on for second and third at the moment. 21 Graham Williamson, 17 Craig Phillips, and 72 Peter Scouten, the ones that are all fighting it out for second, third, fourth, fifth. Here comes Lloyd Phillips to make it a foursome, make it 55. Stevie Robinson to tag onto it as well. So great battle going on in that middle group, and still though 21 Graham Williamson's the one that holds them off at this stage. 72 Peter Scouten looks down low as the 2NZ car of Pete Dixon starts heading off into the distance now. Graham Williamson's got a wee bit of a buffer of about 2 car lengths back to the 72 car of Pete Scouten. Around the top part of him now, the 17 car of Craig Phillips made a bit of a mistake coming off 4, and that's allowed his brother 47 Lloyd Phillips to duck down the inside now. It's still a 3-horse race for second, third and fourth, and it's still 21 Williamson that leads it. Scouten holding off 47 Phillips. Phillips having a wee look down the inside, going up to 3 and 4. Scouten's on it though. Goes up nice and high, comes past us in the control tower. He's challenging the 21 car of Graham Williamson now. Looks like Peter Scouten's on a bit of a charge here. Ooh, just about finds the wall, gets away with it though. 47 Lloyd Phillips is going around the outside. He's following Dutchie around now as they make their way up into turn number 3 and 4 now. Pete Dixon just goes across the line, clocks out a 17.91 now as he makes his way up into 1 and 2. Peter Scouten to 17.73, so he had a bit of lap traffic to deal with there. 21 Graham Williamson gets it wrong, coming off turn 2, gets it back going in in the right direction as that gets a 47 Lloyd Phillips comfortably in third spot now. About to go across the start-finish line for lap number 7 is the 2NZ car of Pete Dixon. Peter Scout in 17.46. He's the fastest man on the track at this stage. Lloyd Phillips a 17.55 as they head down the back straight up into turn number 3 and 4 now. Back behind them, the 21 car of Graham Williamson would be your next place car from 55, Stevie Robinson. In behind him, 68, Dean Shearing would be your next place car from 17, Craig Phillips. And Clark Brown in the 57 car brings up the final spot, tail end of the field now. 2NZ, he's up on to turn 3 and 4. This is a lap of number 9 about to be completed now as he goes across the start. In behind him, the good battle, 72, Peter Scouten. About 8 back will be the 47 car of Lloyd Phillips. Phillips has closed it up, but he might be running out of laps here. 21, Graham Williamson's been caught up by 55. Steve Robinson's on 3 wheels going up between 1 and 2 now. Back behind them, about 25 backs, the 68 of Dean Shearing. 17 car of Craig Phillips would be next, in the 57 car of Clark Brown would be that final car at the tail end of the field now. We should just about see a white flag next time round for our lead car. It is the 2NZ machine. Clark Brown's just gone round coming off turn 4. 2NZ though will come across the start finish line. White flag, 1 to go. Up until 1 and 2 we go. In behind him, 72, Peter Scouten's been caught up by 47, Lloyd Phillips, but Phillips is going to have to go wide to avoid the 57 car, just about hit the wall too. But here he comes, the 2NZ man from Central Motor Speedway in Cromwell. Pete Dixon takes the win from the 72 car of Pete Scouten. 47, Lloyd Phillips would be in third spot. Here comes a great challenge here. 55, Steve Robinson around the outside of the 21 car of Graham Williamson. And then 68, Dean Shearing would be your next place car from 17, Craig Phillips. And that's pretty much 57, Clark Brown would be the other one there. But 2NZ, Pete Dixon, fastest lap, 17.36 on lap number 12. The last one he did. Peter Scouten, though, he was there on a 17.31 done on lap number 9. He did a 17.33 last lap. Biggest mover there, 47, Lloyd Phillips, with a 17.26. He was the fastest man on the track in that race. He was did that on lap number 11, and he did a 17.93 for lap number 12. 55, Steve Robinson with a 17.72, and he did a 17.92. He did a 17.72 on lap 8, and rounding up the top 5, Graham Williamson with a 17.95 done on lap number 10, and he would get a last lap of 18.32. So that is the way they'll line up. Youth Mini Stock's up next. Back soon. Alrighty folks, here we've got a chance now to catch up with 2NZ Saloon car driver, of course, Pete Dixon. Now Pete, it's been one of those scenarios where we've been trying to catch up with you for quite some time. We've managed to meet each other at the same spot at the same time. Car's absolutely flying out there. Pretty happy with the way it's going today?
Yeah, no, it's going pretty good. First race was a bit loose and we tightened it up in that one, and then just took it easy because we knew if someone was going to pass us, they had to go around the outside. So yeah. Make
it as wide as you possibly can then, eh?
That's the one.
Now tell me, we'll just talk a wee bit about your 2NZ. Obviously up the country you went to have a crack at getting that. Was it as easy as you made it look, or was it a bit more harder than that?
No, it was pretty competitive out there. Up in the North Island, they just race every race like it's the New Zealand champ, so it's pretty hardcore. Yeah. You
would have been quite good though, because you've done a few laps, leading into that New Zealand title. I spent most of the Christmas break up there, didn't you? Bit different racing up there to compare to down here?
Yeah, yeah. There's just probably a lot more competitive cars up there, so it makes the racing a lot closer.
Were you surprised to get 2NZ in your first season of Saloon?
Yeah, we went there wanting to win, but yeah, surprised to get a number. I guess after the heats we actually thought we were going to go a wee bit higher, but it is what it is.
Absolutely, but I suppose at the end of the day, yeah, because you went around the outside of a lot of cars and a couple of races there, but the one that counted the most, well, still 2NZ from a boy from the deep south, it's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, especially in the first season.
Yeah, so that's it too. Now, of course, you've also had a bit of a run in the Super Saloon as well. So what sort of brought that on?
Well, Paul just randomly said one day, do I want to do the New Zealand champs, as he's at a conference of Rotorua, so yeah, I was like, yep, definitely.
And the difference between the Super and the Saloon, is there much of a difference?
Yeah, they handle a lot different, just I think it's a horsepower thing, but yeah, a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and you did a good job of that too, qualifying for the New Zealand title. Seemed to go all right, but you got stuck in that last race behind a lot of traffic, just didn't seem to go anywhere.
Yeah, I was probably a bit inexperienced, but we'll give it another shot in years to come, hopefully.
Absolutely. What's the plan? Stay in the Saloon, maybe go into Supers a little bit later on?
Yeah, well, the plan was to run another year in Saloons, but and the off season comes, we'll see what happens, and hopefully, well, the super title being here, I probably should be doing it.
Well, I would imagine it would be silly not to, wouldn't it? Alrighty then, so you've obviously got a few sponsors to look after you too, Pete. Who are they?
Main Freight Cromwell, Paul Wright, he actually massive help to me. Hypermac Racing and Shane, they're another massive help, and New Zealand Composite.
Well, that's good, mate. Hey, well, best of luck for the racing today. Good to catch up with you. Been enjoying watching it. So, yeah, best of luck for the remainder of the season into next season.
Yeah, cheers.
Hi, I'm Scott Williamson and welcome to X Factor Cars. Family owned and operated with 2 locations, Invercargill and Cromwell. Specialising in everything V8 with Holden Ford, HSV, FPV, and with Southland's biggest selection of American muscle, we've got most bases covered. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Get the X Factor.
Back at Central Motor Speedway, Saloon action's about to get up and underway now as the lights start to take effect on a nice, calm Central Motor Speedway evening here. 55 Stevie Robinson will be up on pole position. On his outside, the 57 of Clark Brown, 68 Dean Shearing Contracting, 47 car Lloyd Phillips Cleanways, 17 Craig Phillips in grid 3, or row 3, sorry. He's got Cleanways on him. 72 Pete Scout and Norwood Farm Machinery looking after him, MV Motorsport as well. The 2NZ car, the Hypermac, a sponsored machine of Pete Dixon, 21. Graham Williamson X Factor Cars, the home of everything V8 in Southland and Central Otago. Make sure you go and check out his wonderful toy shops available both down in Invercargill, right on the corner of Gala and D Streets, and also up here at McNulty Drive, I think is where he's parked up here. So some fantastic machinery at X Factor Cars, especially if you're one of those guys that likes a bit of meat, or if you're a puff and driver Japper, that's entirely up to you. But fantastic machinery there. 55 Steve Robinson, the Mustang, leads them up into turn number 3 and 4. Clerk of the course has handed over the starter. Green flag should just about be up. Lights are out. Ready to go. 12 laps is the distance. Easter Champs, day number 2 for the Saloon cars. About ready to go. Racing we go. 57 from Invercargill, Clark Brown gets a goodie. But 55 Steve Robinson's about to be pushed all the way by the 47 car of Lloyd Phillips, 3 wide coming out of turn number 2 now. 72 Pete Scouten would be right in behind him now as they start to sort themselves out, making their way up into turn 3 and 4. Steve Robinson goes up on the high line. 47 Lloyd Phillips is down on the low line now as he makes his way up into 1 and 2. Who's got it going through 1 and 2? Looks like Steve Robinson's got the better line. Lloyd Phillips tails him down the back straight now, going up into 3 and 4. Looks like Phillips is a bit better in 3 and 4. 72 Pete Scouten pushing a wee bit here. Actually, he's pushing right out to the wall, so he might have the wrong setup here. And then a bit of a group of cars all lining up. Next, 68 Dean Shearing has 57 Clark Brown, 2NZ Pete Dixon, and amongst that lot as well. 17 Craig Phillips, been a bit quiet tonight, and 21 Graham Williamson also there. Let's go back up the front. Stevie Robinson up really high. Coming off turn number 4, goes across the start-finish line now. 47 Lloyd Phillips tries to have a big move going into 1 and 2. This if he's got the momentum. He's not got that there. He's got a bit too sideways as he come out of turn 2, but he's having another look up in 3 and 4 now. 72 Pete Scouten's about 3-4 seconds back in that third spot now as they come across the start-finish line. Robinson's got the Mustang Golden. The Corvette has another look up in 1 and 2. Can't quite get that momentum. Robinson's nice and high. 72 Peter Scouten just about found the wall, and 2NZ just about went right round. 68 Dean Shearing would be next, about 8 back then. 21 Graham Williamson's pushing him all the way. 17 Craig Phillips would be next then. 57 Clark Brown brings up that final spot at the tail end of the field now. Up the front we go. 55 Steve Robinson's the one that leads the charge now. Up nice and high up on turn number 3 and 4. 47 Lloyd Phillips has a wee sniff down the inside now as they go across the start finish line. In behind him, 72 Peter Scouten would be next. He's about 25-30 back, or if you want to get it real technical, 3 seconds back. In third spot, he's struggling to get around that 1 and 2, gets a little bit too high. The only action really going on here is for first and second between Phillips and also Steve Robinson. Another bit of a battle going further down the field between Dean Shearing and 21 Graham Williamson. Oh, that's a bit close, Mr. Robinson, but he's gotten away with it. 47 Lloyd Phillips is still tailing him around. Looks like Phillips has got the Hypermac going into turn 3 and 4, but Robinson parks it really high and they go across the start finish line. Complete lap number 8 now. So we've got 8 of 12 down as they make their way down the back straight now. 55, Steve Robinson still leads it. 47, Phillips. 72, Scouton. He's been caught up pretty quickly by the 2NZ car of Pete Dixon now. Then we go back, good battle going on for the 21 car. Graham Williamson's broken past. 68, Dean Shearing, and 17, Craig Phillips as well, and 57, Clark Brown for that final spot at the tail end of the field now. Up around to the turn 3 and 4, and still that battle looms on. 55, Robinson, he's got it on rails up nice and high, and he's getting that rear just up in that line. Look at Lloyd Phillips sideways, but well before he got to the corner, and he's really thrown that car around. Oh, there's a bit of sparkage, so obviously he's hit the wall there, and he'll scrape up a fair bit of momentum in that one. We should just about see a white flag come out this time for Steve Robertson. Robertson's got it really high up on the track. It looks absolutely fantastic as they make their way up into 1 and 2. And it will be the 55 car who's got a couple of turns left to go now, making his way up on turn number 3 and 4, coming across the start-finish line. It will be 55, Steve Robinson from 47, Lloyd Phillips, 2NZ, Pete Dixon for 3rd, 72, Peter Scouton for 4th spot, and then we've got to wait a wee while. 21, Graham Williamson, he left it too late to break the field, but he'll get in across in that 5th spot. Then 17, Craig Phillips from Dean Shearing, and Clark Brown in the 57 car brings up that final spot at the tail end of the field. Well, there we go, folks. That was the Saloons done and dusted for the night, I'm led to believe. Not unless they got something a little bit later on, but I don't think so. 55, Steve Robinson, 17.61 in lap 5 was his fastest, 18.09 in the last. Lloyd Phillips, his lap scoring's not registering, so we're not sure what he did. 2NZ Pete Dixon, 17.09. Once he got away, he was the fastest man on the track. He did it on lap 4. His last lap was a 17.83, so he was certainly there, but he was about 3.3 odd seconds behind. Then we had 72, Peter Scouton with a 17.63 fastest lap, 18.31, so really the pace fell off for him in the later part of the racing. He did a 17.63 on lap number 9 though, and rounding out the top 5, Graham Williamson, 17.74, did it on lap 10 once he broke away from that traffic, and his last lap was a 17.98.